This Hour Has 22 Minutes is a satirical examination of daily events. Some viewers may not share this sense of humor.
Paul Martin's budget is a satirical look at the Canadian economy. Some taxpayers may not share his sense of humor.
Only hours ago, Canadians heard the bad news, but no sooner had the most talked about budget in Canadian history come down than the competition was on between the political leaders to put their spin on it. This hour has a live feed from Ottawa of the race. And Prime Minister Jean Chrétien's in the front, snorting rationalizations. But look, Preston Manning and Lucienne Bouchard are coming up fast from behind, squealing rancid cliches. Oh, it looks like we lost the live feed. Well, not to worry. The race is scheduled to go on for days, and besides the hum out of those porkers in Ottawa, you won't miss it. Frank?
Thank you, Sydney. It's been a very busy day for Paul Martin Jr. Budget Day is full of traditions, briefings, and, of course, the big speech. But in one break with tradition, the finance minister didn't show reporters a new pair of Budget Day shoes.
Instead, he opted for less expensive, more innovative footwear, which Martin tested in water from the Rideau Canal. Among the department's hardest hit in today's budget was defence. New naval frigates have been replaced with something a little less expensive. Via Rail has been shut down once and for all, except for commuter service between Montreal and Ottawa. And the Prime Minister's plane has been stripped for parts and sold off, all except for Chrétien's favorite seat.
The President of the United States, Bill Clinton, spent 29 historic hours in Ottawa last week. In a departure from the traditional display of deep-seated respect Americans usually afford all things Canadian, the President couldn't ooze enough praise. He approved of our social safety net.
Provide health care to all your citizens.
He approved of our Prime Minister. He even approved of our ceiling. Oh, the President. He liked us. He really liked us.
Months ago, the Reform Party told Canadians who were upset about taxes to write and tell them why. The party had promised to pass all mail on to the finance minister. The response at Preston Manning was nothing short of an old-fashioned miracle. Earlier today, prior to the budget being tabled, party faithful assembled the letters and prepared to deliver them to the office of the minister.
Here we come, Mr. Martin.
It took many men to handle the bags, and the volume of letters made quite an impression. Unfortunately, upon closer examination, it was revealed that the post office had made a dreadful mistake.
Every one of these letters is addressed to Santa Claus. The post office has delivered them.
Any Canadians who wrote the Reform Party concerning today's budget can assume that they were ignored because all letters addressed to Parliament Hill have been delivered to the North Pole for years.
Canada's 225,000 federal civil servants are hopping mad over today's budget. For a reaction, we speak to 3 employees of the federal government. Joining us now are Mr.
No names.
Well, normally we do introduce our guests by name.
Well, no names. I don't want my name to go on the list.
My name is Amanda Patterson, and I agree with Mr. Martin. We must all make sacrifices.
Oh, yeah, Mrs. Married to a doctor wants to make sacrifices. I'm married to a level 2 clerk who works on contract.
1 in 5 employees must lose their jobs. How has that affected the morale in the workplace?
Oh, morale is great. You know, in Russian roulette, you get a 1 in 6 chance, and that's why the POWs were always in such a good mood during the war.
Mr. Martin's budget has, however, allowed for job counseling services and stress management workshops.
It doesn't matter. I can't get a job. I have no skills.
We used to work for the government. Don't you get it?
Although I've taken 6 stress workshops, and I must say, they're very good.
Stress!
What can you do personally to fight these cuts Do you have any leverage at all?
No, we got no leverage whatsoever, no weight whatsoever. We defy gravity. We should be with the space program.
Oh, I disagree. I believe the employees at the Department of Fisheries and Oceans represent the brightest and the best that Canada has to offer.
Yeah? What Parliament Hill do you work on?
You must be in some sort of parallel universe, are you?
I resent that. Everyone I know at the Department of Fisheries is...
This is Ottawa. There is no ocean here.
We monitor new fishing equipment.
What do you need new fishing equipment for? There's no fish! Haven't you heard? It's over! We're all gonna die!
There's no fish?
Time to sign up for a workshop, Mrs. We should all make sacrifices.
Is there any talk of a general strike?
Well, you know, we did it before, and it wasn't easy, but we accomplished our goal. We did receive job security.
You just don't get it, do ya?
Well, good luck to you all. And though we all sympathize, I'm sure none of us can imagine what you're going through right now.
Yeah, but you can, can't you, Molly?
I beg your pardon?
Read the budget a little closer, Molly. They mention you on page 6.
Oh, well, good night. Thank you.
It's soon to be March, but she just couldn't wait. So let's go into the bath with this hour's very own Marg Delahunty.
Hi, I'm Marg Delahunty. I've been hiding out in here all day long, trying to avoid the inevitable crucifixion of watching Craig Oliver, who, by the way, is still sucking food off his Harry Rosen lapels from his glory days in the Mulrooney reign, complain that the Paul Martin budget just didn't go far enough. And yes, I'm taking a French leave from putting up with that camel-haired coated, silk-scarved official Liberal spokesperson, Jason Moskowitz, towing the Palace Elite party line. Oh my, I feel like a census form all broken down by religion, sex, and age. Of course, when you're on the slippery slope side of 50 and picking up speed, you've got to learn acceptance, and you've got to learn it fast. So, naturally, I now accept that Mr. Paul Martin, whose personal fortune is estimated at about, 30 million spondulix, would naturally come down, and come down hard, on the side of those fearless men of industry who control the financial empires in this country. And I'm ready to let go and release those bitter thoughts that those said industrialists exploit, oppress, and deceive with a gusto that had curled the genitals of a dead dog. I will hawk up this hairball and thus refrain from calling John Cretton's liberals big, fat, fabricating falsifiers, two-faced, deceiving dissemblers who rode in on a promise of jobs, 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 who vowed that if we stuck with them, the munificent liberals, we'd all be farting through silk. Oh, my. You have to laugh.
The federal court dismissed an appeal by a 16-year veteran of the RCMP who was fired in May. The man was relieved of his duties when he had sex with a woman he was driving home because she was too intoxicated to drive. Reacting to the ruling, a spokesperson of the RCMP said this was a perfect example of why the RCMP should be unionized. Said the spokesperson, "We want respect. It's got to the point now where an officer can't sleep with a drunk chick when he's on duty."
Hot on the heels of his first hit single, Life Support System, the Timmins-based singer known only as Coma Man has traded his Fender guitar and Marshall amps for a fresh new acoustic-based sound. The new album, Coma Man Unplugged, is in stores now, but doctors do not expect it to do very well.
Libido-lacking Middle Eastern men have been buying special goat's milk that is produced by the goat of Mufid Gaffair. The milk is rumored to be putting the spark back into countless loveless marriages. We speak now to Ahmed and Jufalina Kababi, a married couple who have been searching for a way to rekindle what they once had.
Yeah, once is right.
Ahmed and Jufalina, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Have you tried the milk of the magic goat?
Oh, don't be talking. I like to shoot that goat.
Come on, Jufalina, if you think I'm sexual and you like my bodies, come on, sugar, let me know.
See, he was bad before, but oh,
You
God.
seem to be in very cramped quarters.
Yeah, we're in a plane.
We're on the way back from a visit with Mufid's goat lamb chop.
Mufid?
What's all this about Mufid?
Oh, please.
Ever since we left, it's Mufid this and Mufid that. It's all Mufid with you now.
Oh, start with the man in the mirror, for God's sake. You were all over the goat. You never left poor lamb chop alone.
So what now?
Well, if she would shut up for 5 minutes, we were about to join the Mile High Club, weren't we, Jufalina?
Yes. No. What's that?
Well, I believe it would mean that you are planning on having marital relations in the washroom of that airplane.
Over my dead body? You told me the Mile High Club was like Club Z and I was going to get a clock radio or a free gift.
Yeah, well, I'm your free gift, Jufalina, and it's time to unwrap me.
Oh, that's it. That goat's milk's going down the toilet.
I'm warning you, Jufalina, that milk goes, so do I. Oh, jeez. Thanks, Jufalina. I could go for a cigarette and a pack of peanuts around now.
That was it. Get a new goat, Ahmed.
Well, there it is, the sad lengths that some couples will go to in order to keep love alive.
I think that financial markets, in fact, should feel very, 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 very good.
Oh, Canada.
We will hit our targets. Hit our targets. Hit our targets.
We will hit our targets. We will hit our targets.
When you think about what inventions have completely altered society, there's a couple of biggies. Fire, the wheel, the fridge, etc. But in recent times, the one invention that definitely comes to mind is the home video camera. Think about it. Before video, we had to be content to just hear about how cute our little nephews were at their grade 3 French immersion Christmas concert. Now, we get to watch all 2.5 hours. And they say that vacation slideshows used to be bad. Videotapes are 6.5 hours long, and there's not a hope in hell the bulb will ever blow. But before video, if you were asked, well, who are you going to believe? The low-down lying, good-for-nothing nobody, or the person who was sworn an oath to serve and protect? You wouldn't be blamed for choosing the latter. But now it turns out, every single time there's a video camera around, the low-down lying, good-for-nothing no one is getting whacked over the head with a stick on an LA freeway, rode around like a donkey up at Camp Petawawa, or as in the latest video du jour, getting their clothes ripped off on the floor of the Kingston Pen. Which is, I am told, just as bad as having to watch your little nephew's grade 3 French immersion Christmas concert. But if you ever find yourself on the wrong end of a nightstick or a riot squad, you will thank your lucky stars if someone somewhere has you perfectly framed with that easy-to-use, dummy-proof autofocus and zoom.
President Boris Yeltsin banned the Russian media from advertising alcohol last week, saying the ads were a threat to public health and a constant reminder of what a big drunk he is. Liquor companies in Alberta are watching the situation closely, fearing the same thing could possibly happen there.
Last week, the Sicilian Mafia outlawed its kiss of honor. That is the kiss on the cheek that indicates to fellow thugs that a man is part of crime society. The traditional kiss was too conspicuous and has been replaced with a high five of honor, which is accompanied by a shout of, "Yo, Luca the Brazzi sleeps with the fishes."
You spin the wheel, you take your chances. That was the message sent out loud and clear in Nova Scotia's capital last week, where the opening of a new casino will mean big job opportunities.
More than 7,000 people showed up for a 1 in 13 chance at winning a job. Organizers wanted to put a new spin on the boring job interview process, so they billed the event the Halifax Sheraton Job Fun Fair. And oh, what fun it was.
2 for $1, 1 for $1. Step right up and try your luck. Have you got your application, sir?
Yes, ma'am. It's all filled out.
Okie dokie, and here, sir, is your hook.
My hook?
Yes, what job fair would be complete without a fish pond?
No, I came for a job.
Oh, sir, you've got something on the hook.
I'm gonna get a job.
You're gonna get a job.
I'm gonna get a job.
You're gonna get a job. Oh, too bad, sir. And it looked like a big one, too.
But what about my job?
No job, sir. But please accept this complimentary 50-cent casino chip.
No, I need a job.
Yes, dear. Try over at the dunk tank. Next! Every time they fish, they get their wish.
This is WTN, Women's Television Network.
Hello, 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 hello. I am DeVoe, Capstall Shilers. Welcome. We're going to share some special moments together today on the Women's Network. I know you're going to stay with us. Oh, where are you going? Just kidding. It's going to be so special because we share so darned much. We're all women, and that's interesting, up to a point. I myself take medication from time to time just to deal properly with that little factoid. Oh, Dr. Dorothy Schuyler's Capstall, you guessed it, my double reverse sister-in-law, is going to be here talking about something we all share, the cervix, how to cook it, and low-fat recipes for... Oh, I goofed. A cervix is not something you cook. It's part of your body, so stay tuned. Later on in the show, I'm going to have my snack. And I'd like to think that you at home would have a snack with me at the same time. Snack time. And then, later during the nap show, yes, surprise, the little nap we take from time to time, or seem to take, is now part of the programming here on the Women's Network. In fact, that's what the Women's Network is about, really. Rest and rejuvenation so we can watch some other channels. Oh, what do you know? It's time for the nap show already. Coming at ya.
The following is a free-time political broadcast. On behalf of the Newfoundland Separation Federation, Jerry Boyle.
Hello, I am Jerry Boyle. Is your brother-in-law furious that according to the new budget, house-breaking tools are no longer deductible? Do many of the people you know have a financial strategy that includes going to prison to avoid paying new taxes? Does your accountant serve time on weekends for threatening Revenue Canada with a pointed stick? If the answer to these questions is yes, then you, my friends, are like me. People say, go away, Jerry. You do not know anything about budgets. But I beg to differ. Jerry Boyle has answers about the budget. They just do not always correspond to the questions. The budget has confused many in my riding. For example, I am often asked, am I a public civil servant, Jerry? Well, let me clear this up once and for all. If you sell stuff that falls off the back of a truck, you may be in public and you do provide a service, but that does not make you a public servant. You should not worry about the new budget. Your problems obviously go much deeper. People ask me, is Paul Martin evil, Jerry? Well, in a word, yes. Paul Martin is evil. But the question is, how evil is he? It is obvious that Martin is ruthless and has no heart to speak of on the one hand, but he seems fairly civilized on the other hand. Perhaps the best description of Paul Martin would be Attila the Hun in penny loafers. It is now time to announce the Jerry Boyle budget for the underground economy. The three main points, same as last year. No taxes, period. Cash under the table, and mum's the word. So remember, if you can mark an X, then you are my kind of people.
After almost 14 years of study, French scientists have discovered a molecule in the human brain called the bliss molecule, which is activated by smoking cannabis. The bliss molecule was not discovered earlier because it was hiding behind the really paranoid lying on the floor in the fetal position and crying molecule.
Last week, a British woman spent $395 to have her front teeth filed into fangs. The woman, who was obsessed with vampires, said she did it to pay homage to her heroes, Bram Stoker, Bela Lugosi, and Margaret Thatcher.
Well, that's the way we saw the world this week. For all of us here, I am J.B. Dixon, reminding you to stay tuned for extensive budget coverage on Primetime News with in-depth analysis and an interview with the finance minister and more. Or if you hurry, you could switch over to Fox and watch the last half of Melrose Place. Tonight, Amanda plots her revenge. Good night. Good night. Bye-bye.
Rick, she's in the hospital.
I know, but someone's going to pay.
So we're almost up to March month.
Yes, they say April is the cruelest month, but March is no miscongeniality, is it?
No. Tomorrow night is pancake night.
Yes, and then Ash Wednesday.
Remember, man, that thou art dirt,
Yes.
none to dirt thou shalt return.
Oh, stop it, for the love of God. That goes right through me like a dose of salt. What are you going to give up for Lent?
So what do I have left to give up for Lent? Sure, only me prayers. I suppose I could give up the nose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what's Pamela doing with the top of her hair, the front part?
Ma, the more hair Peter loses, the higher up that little poke on Pamela goes.
Yes.
I'll miss keeping my eye on that for the 40 days of Lent.
Yes, my dear.
Yeah.
And the world at 6. You won't have that to get you through your supper hour.
Yeah, news world will be off limits altogether, I suppose.
Yeah.
No more Henry Chump.
No, that's Chimp. Henry Chimp.
See, I won't be up to date then on the wars in the Balkans and the referendum.
Oh, my, the referendum be right off the agenda altogether.
Oh, yes, and you'd miss that
Yes.
now, wouldn't you?
You'd miss knowing what the exact wording of the question's going to be.
Yeah, you'd miss knowing when they're going to ask that question.
Yes, or if they're going to ask that question.
Or if there's anyone at all left who gives a flying fig now enough to answer that question.
Oh, yes.
We'll miss the news, all right. Oh, God, I love Lynn.
Yes, you're not alone there, my
No,
darling.
my darling, sure, it used to get off the booze for the whole 40 days now. Except now.